How you doing, people? My name is Robert, aka Rob S. I'm part of Expose Scotland, Save Our Children, and Anti-Corruption Scotland. And we're here today trying waking up the people who still sleeping thinking that life is hunky-dory. Well, life isn't hunky-dory, especially for sons in Scotland, daughters in Scotland. It's been raped, murdered, abused and trafficked. Deprivation and poverty, another issue. People lying in the street, no food, nothing. The government don't care about you or your family, and that's a fact. Now, you have a place down at the start of the city centre, the Four Corners at McDonald's. That's where the manipulation of sons and daughters are being manipulated. People are offering people gifts to try and be their boyfriend and don't tell your family, and they're trying to take them away. Glasgow is rife with flats with sons and daughters right now being abused, raped and prostituted. Police Scotland are part of it. It's only recently came to our attention, and we could prove this without a shadow of a doubt, that over 20 police constables in Police Scotland have been convicted in Glasgow Sheriff Court and other courts in Scotland for child abuse, downloading images, sexual assault on women. Now, if you can't trust Police Scotland with your sons and daughters, who can you trust? They're corrupt to the core, the same as the government. With these rules, regulations and policies, there's no law. They're manipulating the rules to suit children's parents to take your sons and daughters into care. They're stealing the sons and daughters on a daily basis, and they're being abused in the care system as well. We also have graves all over Scotland and private land that the councils and everybody, government departments is trying to sell so they can develop properties and hide the crimes against the children who's been murdered. And there is thousands of children murdered and buried, and that's a fact. We have to bring down the Scottish government and put a people government in place where the people have control. The people serve the people who know themselves. There's a conflict of interest with this Scottish government, and I don't mean just the SNP, I'm talking about the whole lot. The whole lot need to go. They're committing crimes against the people. They're causing deprivation and poverty, and they're robbing the people of their equity. They're forcing you to wear masks that you don't need to wear. They're forcing you to take vaccinations you don't need to take. And they're costing you your job because they're telling you if you don't do what we say, then you're losing your job. Well, they cannot sack you for your job. I'm a specialist in common law. Your body is your property. Your legs, your eyes, your hair, your skin, your feet, elbows, arms is your property. No man or woman on this planet, including Sturgeon, can make you put anything into your body that you don't consent to. They need informed consent, and that's a fact. We are governed and policed by consent. Everything in the legal system is a fraud. Legal, lawful. What is the difference? Legal has nothing to do with the men and women. And everybody walking up down this street is a man, a woman, a son or a daughter. They are not a person. That's where the status person comes in, under the legal realm. Common law is man or woman. And that's a fact. As long as you don't commit harm, loss or injury, property damage or theft within fraud within a lawful contract, you have committed no crime. You are being deceived, people. We the people are standing here in the rain today because we have the answers, we have the solutions, and we have the truth. We are not conspiracy theories. Your government is. Sturgeon, Humes are useless. Tell you you have to take vaccinations. They're not even medically qualified. So who are they to determine what you should take and what you shouldn't? You're being lied to, and it needs to stop. People need to waken up, smell the coffee, stand up, be counted. People walk past laughing. Well, the laugh is on news because you're that dumb you don't know what's happening. Right. Even when it's right in your face, they put it right in your face and you still can't see it because you're too busy watching TV, reading newspapers, media, radio, and all the rest of the nonsense. Your psycho condition, dummies, has not got a brain, can't think for yourself. Right? Now, I'm an anti-vaxxer, as people call me. I don't take vaccinations because they are toxic poisons. You're a guinea pig for these vaccinations. Nobody can verify in the private capacity if they're safe, and that's been proven. Even with the yellow card scheme, the government yellow card scheme. 1.5 million adverse reactions. 1,500 deaths, and people are still queuing up like it's great. You give me a chance of winning the lottery and surviving with the toxics they're putting in your body. Say again?
They get prescriptions, they know what's in it, prescriptions.
That's the thing. She made a valuable point. When you go to your doctor and you get a prescription, you know what's in it because they tell you what's in it. They don't tell you anything here. They're just born liars. It's diabolical. Everybody walking about having their Christmas shop. Well, it's not too far away where there's going to be another lockdown. You're on a lead and they're going to pull your reins in shortly, and that's a fact. Even the shops are manipulating the prices because they're saying there's a shortage of food, drink and everything else. This is all part of the scam, and all these businesses are part of the scam. Now, they tell you if you take your double vaccination, the flu jab and your booster, you're safe. They also tell you when you take that, you can still transmit it and pass it on. So how can you be safe? And what is the point of taking this nonsense? What is the point of taking this? I know 7 people right now has died because they took this vaccination. They're now going to target the sons and daughters of Scotland. Their systems are not fully developed. They have to let the system develop. The sons and daughters are at no risk, right? Look at all that great people that were standing at the doors not so long ago, clapping for all the NHS staff doing a great job. 18 months later, what's happening? They're all getting sick because they're not taking the poison that they're getting administered. You can't even get into a hospital and get treatment. The only thing it seems to be is COVID-19 or the new variant. What I can say is, I hope they bring its passport and its vaccination passport so we know who it is. Because nobody else seems to know who it is. Now, people dying with cancer. My father died 6 weeks ago with stage 3 cancer. They say it's with stage 4. We don't hear about the people that's not getting treatment for cancer. We don't hear about the people that's dying of heart attacks. We don't hear the people that's dying about anything else. Why no? Because they're committing fraud and lies against the people of Scotland. And that's what we have to. That's why we are here, to waken you people up to expose the damage it's getting caused to your health, your sons and daughters. Midazolam, that was the drug they gave in the care homes. It killed only thousands of people. Now, there's a woman here. Her mother was in a care home a year ago, and they were trying to give her the same drug. End of care, life, end of care. I done a notice and told her how to format a notice under common law. And she got mother out of the care home and saved her life under common law. Because your mother, your son, your father, your daughters, your grandmother, grandfather's your property. They're all your careers.
Dated the 14th of April 2020, prescription.
There's a prescription here if you want to come over and see it. The 14th of April 2020. 2020, when they were trying to end this woman's mother's life with midazolam and other drugs. They're committing genocide against the people. Even right now when you're taking their vaccinations, they're committing genocide. I've called Sturgeon out numerous times all over Scotland. I've told her to come and face a man in front of the people of Scotland and let's get it on. Not one of them will come near me because they know I'm telling the truth and they would be exposed for the crimes they're committing against the people.
April verification of expected death.
The 8th of April 2020. Verification of expected death performer. They had almost a death certificate for my mum. April. The 8th of damn April. Midazolam. The 14th of April. Just after the lockdown.
I'll tell you how corrupt the hospitals is, people. I went to the hospital, my father was lying in his dying bed with cancer. They put a do not resuscitate order on him without consent or knowledge. And I found this out. And I went through 2 surgeons and medical staff in that Queen Elizabeth Hospital. It's not so long ago a 6-month-old baby has just died by drinking the water in that hospital. Who's going to be held to account for that? Is life have no value anymore to use people?
That's a death hospital.
That's not a hospital. That's where they're creating genocide against the people. You don't have to take a PCR test. There is no purpose. Ethylene oxide's on that. It's a cancer-causing drug. Do your research. You don't be walking about a fart in a trance. It makes me sick. I stand here trying waking you people up. Diabolical.
And the cheap blue masks
The masks have got chemicals in them as well, people. Stop wearing them masks.
Blue ones.
The blue ones. They come from China. Does that not tell you enough?
Cheap.
Cheap rubbish. Anyway, I've said what I'm going to say. I'm not going to put you on a woman called Mandy that specialises in child trafficking and abuse of sons and daughters in Scotland.
Hello everybody. I'm with a group called Expose Scotland and it's Save Our Children. We try to raise awareness about how the children in Scotland aren't safe. We have grooming gangs in our streets in Glasgow and our young that come into this city are not safe. Now, we've had a pandemic in this country and no one is protecting our young people. Our young people are being terrorised, they're being left to suffer, they're being left alone and they're being isolated. We are going to have a pandemic of mental health in our young if we don't start getting people to start recognising that our government are terrorising us, our government are terrorising our children, they're inflicting fear, isolation, and our children are not safe. We went into lockdown last year and what the Scottish Government didn't tell anybody is, while we were all in lockdown, they were discussing implementing a global sex education programme into your schools. Now, we're in this town every week, we're online trying to raise awareness, trying to stop this, and we're campaigning against a sex education programme in your schools. It's designed at sexualising your children from 3 years old, and it's called RSHP in Scotland. It's Relationship and Sexual Health in Parenthood. And we as parents are concerned. We believe there's a safeguarding issue for our children. We believe nobody's protecting them, nobody's protecting their minds. They're already distraught and fragile through the pandemic that the government have told them, the fear of losing their family, and now without parental consent, the Scottish Government have brought a global sex education programme into your schools without knowledge or consent from the parents. Now this sex education programme is really sinister. We've got booklets there and it shows you the whole programme that the Scottish Government are showing your children. So from 5 years old, well from 4 years old, the Scottish Government have made it legal. I don't know if anybody's aware. They have made it legal for your child to change their gender, their name in school, and also use a separate toilet. They don't have to get parental consent or permission, and they don't have to tell the parents that your child, say your little girl Emily's now been calling herself Robert in school. Now that's 4 years old, that child's mind's fragile. Children have imaginative play. They're going to sexualise your children, but they're not safeguarding, they're not telling the children that they don't experiment on each other, that they don't go around touching other adults. Now this, for anybody that doesn't know, Wales have lost their parental rights through this sex education programme. In Wales they no longer have parental rights because your child through this sex education programme will be given sexual rights. And if you as a parent try to take them out of the sex education programme, you're denying your child their sexual rights. So then that allows your school to safeguard your children against you for denying them sexual rights. The people that created this sex education programme, guys, believe that your children should have sexual rights from birth. This is paedophiles. This is a global sex education programme being created by paedophiles, brought into your schools without your consent, without your permission, and none of you are aware of what your children are being taught. None of you are aware of what this brings and what power this gives to your school over you. This gives your school. Your school will then, in a year's time, your child will be able to start gender transformation medication prescribed by your school without your parents' consent. It's happening in other countries, but nobody believes me. Go and research. Other countries started it 9 years ago and they've already lost their parental rights. The children are already sexualised and they're all they're experimenting with younger brothers and sisters in the house because nobody's telling them in school. They don't go home and show their brothers and sisters what they've been taught in school. Nobody's telling them that. They're leaving it to the parents to tell them, and it's just sickening because the parents aren't even aware they're being taught it. So how can they then know what their children are doing? If people don't get a grip on this and getting a hold on it, your children will be sexualised and they'll be experimenting. They'll be vulnerable to paedophiles because the teachers aren't qualified to teach this stuff. The teachers aren't qualified to safeguard your children and they don't know what the hell they're doing. We're already fragile, you're not even making parents aware. They're not asking for your consent, which shows you what they think of you as parents. They don't even need your consent. So that should tell you they don't even care, they're going to do it anyway. And if you don't question them, it's going to come into full force. And your children will be able to be safeguarded. Your children are already in danger at the moment. Nobody's protecting the children in Scotland. The government are coming in at full force, terrorising the parents and the families, and not protecting children, not putting anything in place. All they're doing is giving themselves more power to remove your children from you. There's a safeguarding course all teachers went on, and this is for schools, nurseries, schools, colleges and universities. The safeguarding is for teachers to spot activist children. So your children, whether it's school, college or university, if you have disagreements in the home about mask, vaccines, it's going to be known by the education authorities, and they are going to send in safeguarding procedures to your home to tell you what to do with your children and remove your children if you don't agree with them. This is schools, colleges and universities. So if it's a college or university, you won't get social work, but you will get a CPN to the community psychiatric team, chatting your door and asking what your issues and your disagreements are. So that's one way the Scottish Government can already remove your children. The second way, like I said, is this sex education programme. They're raping the minds of your children and you aren't even aware. You aren't even aware that your children have been exploited through the education system. Our Scottish Government are sexually exploiting our children right now in the schools, colleges, universities and nursery schools. They're sexualising children at an alarming rate. They're teaching them pornographic material. I've got the materials up there. All that stuff there is what they're showing primary school children. Right now in Scotland, it is getting, some schools haven't did it yet, but by February 2022 it's mandatory. Now with mandatory, you've got no parental consent, no parental opt-out, and like I said, your children get sexual rights over your parental rights. It's scary stuff. The Scottish Government are literally terrorising its people, and their aim is to remove your children if you don't do what you're told. Now whether that be with vaccines, masks, it won't matter. If you follow all that, that's fine. But if you disagree with them sexualising your children, then your children will still be removed. This time next year we'll have a pandemic, and it'll be parents heartbroken coming to us fighting to try and get their children back off the authorities, because they're literally making legislations every single day. None of you are aware. Nobody does research. Nobody finds out what they're planning against you. Like, we are living in a dictatorship. We are being told to follow these rules. It's never going to change. It's only going to get worse. You're never going to get a normal life back. You're never going to get any freedoms back. They're just going to keep removing them from you. And the more that you be silent, that's their consent. They only need your silence. They don't need you to say yes or no. They just need you to do nothing. And then they'll win. And then you will have no rights. You will have no life. And what life have you got to know? You've been told when and when you can't go. These are grown adults. People need to stand up to these people. We need to tell them to just go away. We'll deal with stuff ourselves like we've always done. We're the human race. We survive viruses. We survive diseases. We always will. We'll get immune. We have immune systems. But these people are destroying us. They're destroying our country. They're destroying our people. They're destroying your bonds that you have with your family. They're destroying your minds. They're terrorising you. They're installing fear. You are scared of something that's not even there, when you really should be scared of them and asking what the hell they're up to, because they're about to literally take every one of you as slaves. And if you don't do what you're told, you'll have nothing. You'll have no job. You'll have no freedom. You'll have no life.
And you'll be happy.
And you'll be happy, and you'll be saying, like, is it okay if I go out next week? Like, no, this is their life. We're free people, and right now we're not free in any country. The governments are free, they're free to do what they like, and they're terrorising and destroying you, slaughtering full families in front of your faces, and you are just standing there saying, right, who's next? No, I think it's time we fight back. We're in the middle of a war, and your families are being slaughtered, and you are all just standing there laughing, thinking it's funny. You won't think it's funny when you've no family left, and you're standing there yourself, getting told you're not allowed to leave your house, because you're not allowed to after 7 o'clock at night, and then you just say that's fine. Is there ever going to come a time we're going to stand up? I grew up in Scotland, and we were fighters, and we stood up for what was right. We protected the innocent, we protected the vulnerable, and we protected our children.
right now we're doing nothing. Is not all we're doing is caring about ourselves. We don't give a shit about our grannies and our granders and our mothers and our fathers. Every single person has lost respect for anybody. Like seriously, people need to wake up. You need to wake up or you'll be living in a dictatorship like China, getting social points scoring for being a good citizen. Seriously. But thanks guys for listening, and like I said, your children are not safe. There's a serious safeguarding issue with children. The Scottish Government are paedophiles, they're raping the minds of your children, they're sexualising your children, and they're about to lower the age of consent to the LGBT community to 10 years old, and none of you seem to care. They're showing your children pornographic images in primary school, and nobody seems to think there's anything wrong with that. Maybe I'm starting to think that Scotland's just been groomed and all turned into paedophiles, I don't know. But you're acting all like paedophiles, that you don't care about children and that it's fine that children have sex. In my eyes, that's paedophiles.
As long as they get to the pub and go to the football match.
Yeah, as long as you go to the pub and the football's still on, everything's fine. Doesn't matter that people are dying, starving in your country, children are being raped and abused. There's grooming gangs in Glasgow city centre that Scotland kept hidden from the Scottish public for 11 years, who are raping and trafficking your children. Every week, all over city flats in this city, there's 88 members that placed Scotland and the Scottish Government jailed, but they kept it secret for the Scottish public. They don't want to know that they own all the takeaway shops and drive all the taxis and traffic and rape and drug your children and ship them all over the country. You don't want to know that, no. But like I said, just let's hope it's not your children and that you don't ever let them out, because this country is not safe. It is not safe by far. And our government are child traffickers, and so is your social services, and so is your Scottish justice legal system. They're the biggest paedophile ring in the country is your Scottish justice legal system. The secretive, speculative society in Edinburgh, full of lawyers, lords, judges and advocates. They have all had numerous court cases against them, have been part of a paedophile ring. But because they run the country, they get away with it. Because they make the laws and the other law, they get away with it. Why do you think that paedophiles don't get sentences in Scotland? Because it's paedophiles that run your country. That's why, if you go and look at the sentencing for a paedophile, you can go and rape 5 children and maybe get less than a year. Right? I could go and smoke a bit of cannabis and I'll get longer than that paedophile. Fact.
The Education Department distributes pornographic material, but if
The Education Department distributes pornographic material to your children, but if we did it, we'd get charged with distributing pornographic material. But they're the paedophiles that run the country, so it's okay for them. And it is pornographic material, guys. Like I said, you've got the sex education in primary schools, which is teaching them stuff that it is pornographic. I don't even want to read it out. And under the sex education programme, the sex education for secondary schools is now a link to Pornhub. You just go into secondary school now, 11 years old, and you get a link to Pornhub for your sex education. So if you are fine with your children watching porn, with the teachers having popcorn in schools, then seriously, I don't know what else to say, because there's something really wrong. None of you should have children. These can't safeguard them.
Okay, there's people here standing laughing. We'll laugh at this. In Australia right now, people can't get out, they're locked up, told they're not going anywhere. If you give your dog a walk, you're getting arrested. Germany's the same. All the countries, this is a global agenda, and it's coming to Scotland, whether you believe it or not. Right, it's coming. So pay attention to the people that's telling you the truth. I stand here, week in, week out. We the people stand here, week in, week out, to try and wake the dummies that still sleep believing. Nicola Sturgeon, Humes are useless, Patrick Harvey, and John Sweeney, and the rest of the paedophiles in the Scottish Parliament. And again, this is a message to Sturgeon. Get in the street, come here, face a man, and I'll destroy you, and I'll show you how much power you do not have against the people of Scotland.
See if you take part in teaching this sex education programme, we're already in the process of taking the Scottish Government to court. So see if you're a school teacher and you teach this, yous have been groomed by the paedophiles and yous are now being groomed into yous are the ones that are going to remove the innocence of that child. So you're the one that will be in court and will be charged. So whether yous are liable, yous are public liability insurance and it's a safeguarding issue. So for all the teachers who teach this sex education programme, it was created by UNICEF and the World Health Organisation 10 years ago. They sat round a meeting in 2009, actually 11 years ago, 2009, and they decided that there was foreign aid threatened. There was some countries get their foreign aid threatened to get refused or they didn't take this. They sat round a big board meeting and they agreed. They signed paperwork, I can show you the contracts, and they all said they would implement it for 2021. Last year, so many schools still hadn't did it, so we went into lockdown and those governments sat and implemented this into every subject in their schools. In Wales, they cannot get it out, it's implemented into every subject, maths, English, geography, primary 1 maths, count the sections of the pride flag, that's a sex education. But it's just to let teachers aware. I know you are teaching this and you are given this stuff to teach, but you are being groomed by paedophiles, so you will then become paedophiles by teaching this, because you are the first person that will be removing the innocence of that child, and you will be the one I'm taking to court for removing the innocence of your children. So the Scottish Government are already in the process of going to court. Any teachers that will still be complicit and go along with it, you will be in court as well. You have public liability insurance, I would get it checked out. So guys, it's just to let you know, like I said, you've been groomed by the paedophiles. If you're a teacher and you start teaching it, after a while, you're not being groomed anymore, you are a paedophile teaching this material. And you're sexualising your children and it's not on, you're going to court. So it was just to state that, guys, and I'm going to pass you on to Kate. And I'm going to pass you on to Joanne.
Right, I never ever speak on this microphone. But I'm going to tell you something right now. It was my 4-year-old daughter that came home and asked me what pubic hair was. She is 4 years old. She's in the first stage of nursery in Scotland. As of the 1st of September, this came in. So if you want to tell a wee baby girl at 4 years old what pubic hair is, do you think that's right? Do you want your children subjected to that? Because I certainly don't. I want my children to have their innocence. And see, right now the government's not putting that innocence in place. They're not even thinking about it. I go through my children's devices daily. I check my children's devices daily because you know what? You don't trust anybody outside your own 4 walls. But see, right now, see what I do trust in is the mothers, the fathers, the grands, the pappies, aunties, uncles, and the children of fucking Glasgow. Stand up for your children. They're the ones that need protected. So see if you can't do that, you've got one person to blame and that's yourself.
Thanks, Missy.
Hello, I'm Mr. Stephen Bonner. I'm a granddad of Reese Bonner. It was 2019, 24th of July. It was a Wednesday afternoon, 2 o'clock. My grandboy left my house, the granddad's house. I'm Stephen Bonner. Reese Bonner was aged 19 years old, that's what he was. You know, he wasn't that young, you know, he was that young, you know what I mean? He didn't get his life, you know. He worked at the East House Shopping Centre, it's known as the Locks now. He met Dee, a known drug dealer, a known user, a known taker of lives, but nothing happens to her. She was in his company. The company of booze. You know, they put him.
You be your friend, you assist you, you drink, give you drugs, you be to your kind of situation. You can't deal with yourself, so you can give you a hand, you want to go here, you want to go there. My grandboy went missing for 15 days in Bishop Lockfield. Dee was the last poor person to see my grandboy alive. She's 47 at the time, she's 49 now, that's Dee. She's a double. She took my grandboy away into Bishop Lockfield for 15 days. Police, Scotland, Back Barrel, East House, Police Station didn't investigate. You had a right to investigate this investigation and missing persons. We all know missing persons did not get investigated right. It's only for 2 weeks that he's sitting in a wee office, contemplating what's going to happen. Then, in Reese's case, they put him released 15 days later. We dragged my grandboy 1,000 feet on Bishop Lock Field. It was rough terrain, over a jagged edge bridge. It ripped my grandboy's body apart. Now, why was there no investigation on my grandboy going missing? Maybe that's a reason. Police damaged my boy, my grandboy, ripped my grandboy apart. Is that why they never investigated my grandboy going missing for 15 days? Now, there was suspicion there. My grandboy's heart. That's not his heart, this is my heart. It's the exact same heart he wore that night. My daughter's got it now. This heart, the copy, I wear it for East. So the heart was found 2 days after East and missing. It was a Friday. It was 26th of July. Same day I notified Glasgow Police Scotland, East House Post, East and Back Barrow. Notified David Reese is missing for 2 days, 48 hours. You can't do nothing else, you've got to wait. You know, you want to go and ask straight away, but 64 hours is the most important. When a boy goes missing and a girl goes missing, 64 hours is the most important. So we had a couple of hours left over, and we did a day, Police Scotland. They sat in their office, had a cup of tea, and they go and do, what are we going to do? Oh, we'll do this, no, we don't do that, we'll do this, no, we'll just sit here and just talk. Ignore Bonner family. I'm Stephen Bonner. My grandboy's 90 years old. It could be your grandboy, it could be your son, it could be your brother, it could be your nephew. You know, I'm just here for the rest of you boys. Young boys here. I'm here for you. Because he says to me, I'm going to help the young boys down here. You may not believe that, but I believe in that. I've got a soul in my heart, and I'm fighting for these kids and all. You know, I've got to do something for my grandboy. Because the poor Scotland, I didn't absolutely nothing about it. You know, I've got people here supporting me. All walks of life. You know. This is Dee the killer. You know, it's an own killer. I can't say for facts that she killed my grandboy. But if she did not kill my grandboy, she done for manslaughter. She knew what she was. Because she got tackled down the town one day, last year, with a woman with blonde hair. Woman says to her, are you Dee? Aye, what about it? This woman's come about the place. What did you do with that wee boy? Did you leave him in that field to drown? Blah, 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 blah. Aye, I let him drown. He's in there drowning. Did you help him? No, I didn't help him. Now that was out there. Obviously we can't take that as a fact. Because she can bully and battered into saying that. But she can see a lot of more things than that, you know what I'm talking about? You understand that? She's quite evil in the mind and all. She'll say and she'll do, and she'll be a pal. But she still goes about here. I can't tell who she is now. She's well known, but I can't tell you. So, we're going to get a bit surprised at Christmas time. From the Bonner family, the Pine family. My daughter Stephanie Bonner is in the house now. She's never comes out again. As soon as she goes on a speaker, or trying to speak, she breaks down. Trying to do a video being taken off my grandboy, Reese Bonner. 90-year-old. He was dragged 1,000 feet by Police Scotland and specialist divers. They were two of their minds and a sergeant's mind to come with this idea. Let's drag him in front of everybody. Not one exit or one entry was closed down or cordoned off with tape. Not a tent off my grandboy, my daughter's son. I want accountability. I'll fight for the rest of my days and I'll die fighting for my grandboy and I'll die fighting for these kids here. Because if you want to go and try and find accountability, please, if you don't want to answer me or answer us or just laugh at us, try and take a point of view. Go on Facebook, go on the internet, that's what it's for. Go about, try and find out some other stories in the news, BBC One, STV, Channel 4. You know, there's better news out there, there's truth, better truth than telling you here. I don't know the facts of this virus, I know, I've not a clue, and really, I don't care. I'm diabetic, I've not took my jab since Reese died, so I'm diabetic type 2 for 17 years. I've not got a problem, touch wood, very wood, I've not got a problem. But I can't say to you, it's not true, it's not, that isn't true, I can't say that to you. It's your own opinion. You've got to find it yourselves. You may say yes, sir, to the government, say to you on TV, see this, we'll tell you what's going to happen to you when you don't have a COVID jag, this is going to happen to you. But they won't tell you when you have a COVID jag, what's going to happen to you, what's your side effects. You understand that now? When people die off, There's people, better people dying now. We're going to Jag, we're going to the hospital. You know, there's a percentage.
Justice
The
for
percentage.
me!
600 people die. We're going to Jag, we're going to the hospital. If you don't get vaccinated at all, nobody, 25% died. 60% I died. We're going to Jag. Statistics. Look at the internet and find out for yourself. That's that many bombs on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. They won't let you talk about it. They're trying to do your credibility. I'm granddad, I'm 56-year-old. Only many years left. I'm just trying to help the young ones, to help the older ones. Use your brains here. You go to your sons and daughters about this, trying to make them up a bit, you know, just trying to make them up. They may not take to it, they may not agree with it. See their opinion. There's no facts about this violence at all. They keep on saying it's 95% fact. It's not fact. You know, it's got to be 100% fact to be approved. It's got approved just in 2023. It's still being used now as an experimental. So you wear your mask, you wear a mask. The TV will tell you wear a mask. We can't stop you. Go wear a mask for 2 months. You wear a mask again. What's the point? You wear a mask for 8 hours, going to walk them back in your house. Oh my door, take your mask off. It's the same air going in your house. And you go in your house, take your mask off. You're going to need it open. What's the point of wearing a mask? We're all seeing violence, we're all seeing holy. We're not a fist. You know what I mean? Thank you very much. Hashtag just for Reece, hashtag just for Johnny.
Justice for Reece!
Justice for Johnny!